He got caught for meth. I know he was cooking it.
Let him go! They're virgins!
We don't have an hour to unpack this whole thing, but that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Aaron Atkins. I'm here with stand-up comedian Ashley Lusk, who just did her debut set on Late Night 5, the show where comedians do their best 5 minutes late night style. Let's watch a clip. Ashley Lusk.
Hey guys, how's it going? Good, I like just the one yeah. That's how it is. That's how you know you're doing well. Guys, I have to admit, a baby blew kisses at me today. Yeah, which means my exes were wrong, and I am easy to love. Yeah, speaking of exes, I recently dated a man who was 20 years older than me, because that's what you do when you have a good relationship with your parents. It was always weird walking down the street with him, though, because I thought people thought he was my dad. And then I was like, wait, he looks nothing like my dad. He's more like a stepdad. And then I had to remind myself, oh, my mom could do better. One of the last arguments we had was because I found out he asked out one of my friends before he asked me out, right? He asked her to go see a movie, which is awesome, because I love movies. For our first date, he took me back to his parents' house. Yeah, they were still alive. Yeah. To watch YouTube. Guys, we had to see his new mixtape. It had a total of 15 views. Yeah, so I know he had 15 dates before me. Yeah. I didn't even get a Netflix and chill. I just YouTubed and it was horrible. No. Guys, clap it up if you were brought up Catholic. Yeah, a couple people. Cool. That's the normal response I expect at a show. I was actually at a show recently, and a guy drunkenly screamed from the crowd, "I was molested!" I know it wasn't multiple choice, but I took it. I wasn't brought up Catholic. I was, however, brought up poor. Yeah. That came to fruition, you guys. Remember when the 2008 recession hit? Everyone was freaking out about losing their homes. My dad sat down, flipped on the news, and started laughing and said, can't lose something you don't have. Yeah. That would have really hit home. Yeah, if we had one. If we had one. We did not. Guys, I was bullied a lot in high school, though. I was. Anyone else bullied? Yep. Yeah, okay. That's probably why, because you say yeah instead of clapping. But my bullies, they weren't creative like that, They were, however, very educated, right? While I was walking down the hallway, they'd scream the same thing over and over again, "You're poor!" And I'd have to be like, "You're not wrong." Also tell your parents, "Thanks for the winter jacket." It kept me warm. Yeah, I hated high school so much I thought about getting pregnant, Yeah, just for the maternity leave. Yeah, but I was a late bloomer. I didn't have my first kiss until I was 17 3/4, so had I stuck to that plan, I would have had a summer baby. Yeah, and those are no good. No one wants summer babies. That's what trash cans are for. Okay, so most of you summer babies. That's fine. That's fine, now you know. But guys, I had my first boyfriend when I was 18, and I thought it was the hottest thing if we drove in what I thought was his car into the middle of a field. Yeah, we'll get back to that. Just to make out, right? Because, what could go wrong? Until we heard knocks on the window, and I was like, oh my God, we're gonna die. But it was 5 cops, so I still thought we were gonna die. One female cop, because feminism. She actually, it's real. She dragged me to the side and she started interrogating me. And she was like, "What were you doing in the car?" And I was like, "Is it illegal to make out with someone?" Yeah. And she was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "I'm 18. Why?" And she's like, "That's so sad." Yeah. Then she looked at the other cops and she's like, "Let them go! They're virgins!" And then she let us go. And I got into the car with my boyfriend at the time, Nick, and as we're driving, he looks at me and he was like, "Hey, Ashley, you didn't tell him my real name, right?" yeah, that's the same reaction I had. I didn't know what to say. And I was like, no, why? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So I didn't. And then he ghosted me for a month. Right? He ghosted me before ghosting was a thing. And then he ended up on my porch, right? On my front door. And then he was like, hey, Ashley, am I going to take you out tonight? And I was like, no, Nick, you broke up with me. No. And he's like, no, I was in jail. There was a warrant. Yeah. So I was with him for another year. Because that's what love is. Guys, I would actually still be with him to this day, except he's in Kentucky. Yeah, because they have prisons there too. They do. All right, guys, I'm going to leave you with 2 quick things, okay? A couple months ago, I found out I had a miscarriage. Yeah, I know. I was surprised too. I didn't realize God loved me so much. I was like, what? And have you guys heard of the attractiveness scale? 1 being least attractive, 10 being most attractive? Yeah, I'd say I'm a solid 7, but when you get to know me like you guys all did, I'm a 5. Yeah, but in Kentucky, I'm always an 11. Yeah, ton of family down there. All right, guys, give it up for Aaron. We were financially stable up until I was 10 years old, and my father lost the business because of a bad business partner. So we ended up going through this entire... It's all convoluted, but we ended up trusting a lawyer, and she told us we had to sell the house, and she stole money from me when I was 10. Yeah,
when you were
she stole
10?
Yeah, all my money that was in my savings. She stole, and then she stole everything from my family. When my father started rebuilding the business because he had a film production, like a video production business, she went in and she actually stole physical equipment. She's actually in federal prison right now, where Martha Stewart was.
Holy
so
shit!
You guys can look her up. I can't say her name technically, but like her name's not.
Fuck that bitch, whatever her name isn't. That's awful.
Yeah, but she I guess she didn't get it for what happened to us, because she only stole hundreds of thousands. But I guess she did a wire fraud of $200 million. So that's what got her.
$100 million.
Yeah.
How? What?
Because lawyers are, I mean, no offense. If you're
Dude,
a lawyer or aspire.
We don't have an hour to like unpack this whole thing, but that's fucking insane.
Yeah.
And so like, how do you process that through your comedy? Do you? Or?
I haven't really gotten. I've been talking about my own experience and my family's experience through dealing with losing everything.
Right.
But I haven't talked about her necessarily, because I think it's still a touchy subject to know that someone who took everything still only gets 5 years.
Yeah.
And what we're going through has lasted 14, 15 years, and it's still going on.
How do you feel like comedy plays a role in your processing of this information, or do you feel like it doesn't because you have to make fun of it?
It doesn't. It doesn't help process it. I think it's great to talk about and it's great to unpack, but I don't think comedy is the place to unpack it all and to cope with it.
Right. It's not therapy.
No, it's not therapy. And I think a lot of people confuse comedy for therapy. And they think it's going to solve everything, but it's not, because once you leave the stage, it leaves you.
Yeah.
So you have to deal with it every single day. So how are you going to deal with it? What coping mechanism are you going to go through? You know?
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it has to be funny.
Yeah, it does.
And when you're young, and when you're starting out, you have to just be funny. Before thought-provoking, before anything else, you have to be funny. And so you end up being like, my thing, I was on heroin. I don't look like I was heroin. I look like I was on Glee. Whoa. You end up making fun of yourself, and you end up like Hannah Gadsby made a whole special about it. So, hey, maybe you got a career in that. You got storytelling, emo comedy. That's one way. One question I definitely did want to ask you, a question I had from your set. You said your boyfriend had a warrant out.
Yeah.
For what? What was it for?
Okay, so which warrant? There was multiple. Is that bad? I think
How many times can I look at the camera and be like, "What is this about? Like, what the fuck is that about? Did you more than one?" There was
a car he stole. He drove under the influence. I know there was an assault charge. There was something. I think he got caught for meth. I know he was cooking it.
And you were fine after this. You didn't.
I didn't know.
You got away.
I was 18. I was just like, everything's fine. You know. My dad's like, I don't think you should date him, and I was like, no. What's wrong with him? My dad's like, he's losing his teeth, and I was like, He just has bad genetics, you know?
There's too many of them to start with.
Yeah.
That was it. Jesus Christ. Well, Ashley Lusk, everybody.
Thank you.